If you like to make your NFL games a little bit more interesting, you've come to the right place. It's the Even Money Podcast with Ross Tucker and Steve Fezzik.
Yeah, Vegas, baby, Vegas. It is the Even Money Podcast. We are, of course, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Love those dudes. Love all of you that check us out, whether it's on podcast or those of you that watch us over at youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. There's a reason we are one of the 3 best NFL betting podcasts in the galaxy. And Steve, just to pull the curtain back a little bit, I think most of you know, but we get new listeners each week or new viewers. So I'm Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman. You can see the game balls and the helmets behind me if you want to see who I played for or Google it or whatever. The star of the show is Steve Fezzik at Fezzik Sports, who not only is the only 2-time winner of the Super Bowl of professional football betting at the Super Contest at the Westgate. A little birdie, Steve, told me you're killing it in the Circa Millions right now.
Yeah, so Circa took over for the Westgate in terms of the premier sports book in town, and they have the biggest contest in town, 5,300 people. First prize is $1 million in Circa Millions, and I'm tied for third right now, Ross. So let's keep it going.
So what does that mean if you tied for third at the end? How much money is that?
$450,000.
What's the entry fee?
$1,000. It's like the main. It's like the main event in poker. It's like Mike Mattisau, famous poker player, once said, ain't going to be easy to beat 5,000 guys. Gonna have to get all the chips. Gonna have to run better than God. Yes.
That is amazing. Good for you, man. Well, you're in a better place than I am because I was on the call last night with Kevin Harlan on Westwood One for that Bills debacle. Imagine, Steve, knowing that you had 12 units, essentially, I guess 6, but my first 3 teaser legs for last week of the Wheeling teasers, they all came through. Patriots, Vikings, Raiders. All I needed was the Bills to win by 2 points last night, and that was 12 units, Steve. 12. Instead, they lose at home after a loss to the Broncos, and I'm on the call for it. And instead of being up 12 units on those plays, I end up netting even on the teasers, which obviously with the VIG, it's not really even. But that was painful. So then I did the Ross Tucker football podcast, Steve, in the Denver Broncos coaches booth with Jack after the call with Kevin Harlan till like 12:30. Still sat in traffic for another 30 minutes at least, even though it was an hour after the game. Got to Corning, New York at 3. Slept from 3:15 to 6:02, maybe almost 3 hours. And then drove the last 2.5 hours home here to central Pennsylvania. Got into my office at 9. Here we are, 9:25 a.m. Eastern time. We are rolling. A lot to get to. Check him out on social media at Fezzik Sports. I'm at Ross Tucker NFL. We are at Ross Tucker Pod on social. And remember, you can get the vaunted grades spreadsheet that he posts on our private Slack channel every week just by being a patron. Patreon.com/RT Media. Steve, we got off to a really good start last week. I had the Panthers getting 3.5, and then you and I had a best bet, 2 units. I only had 1 unit on the Panthers. We had a best bet, 2 units on the under 40. Game ended 16-13, so to start the week, you were up 2 units, I was up 3 units, feeling really good about things.
Panthers can't score. They took the wrong guy. Misery in Carolina. Keep betting that team to go under, I think.
Colts, Patriots. The Patriots actually outplayed the Colts, but they still lost the game. It's a new era where the Patriots lose even when they outplay the other team. The Patriots used to win even when the other team outplayed them sometimes. Now they outplay the Colts and they still lose the game. Had them as a teaser leg. You did not. You did not take the Patriots as a teaser leg. You had the Raiders with me. You had the Bills with me. I had the Patriots. You took the Arizona Cardinals as your teaser leg. Then we get to Texans, Bengals. We both leaned Bengals laying the 6.5, and they lost, Steve, outright.
Yeah, Houston is a team that we just had the power rating completely wrong, and we didn't know, that their quarterback was a top 10 quarterback. You certainly can make that case right now, and obviously, if you expected to have one of the worst quarterbacks in the league and you got a top 10 quarterback, you go from being a 4-win team to a 9-win team.
You and I both took the Jags. I'm mad at myself. I mean, I know they were getting 3 at home, but the Niners, this is the way the NFL works. The Jags were not going to win their 6th straight game in the same game where the Niners lost their 4th straight. That just doesn't happen in the NFL. You don't win 6 straight. If you're the Niners and you're good, you don't lose 4 straight. We were stupid. That was a 2-unit best bet. I mainly blame you because you said you have to invest in Jacksonville. Trying to pass the buck here. I'm kidding, of course. Browns, Ravens. I took the Browns for 1 unit, getting 6 points. You leaned Ravens. Browns won the game outright. Vikings, Saints. We both had the Vikings as a teaser leg. That's one of the teaser legs that came through for us. We both had 4 teams in that we wheeled teasers. We both had 3 legs come through, but 1 leg didn't. The Buffalo Bills, and it killed us, Steve. It killed. 1 leg out of 4 can ruin everything.
And the Bills completely statistically won the game. So the turnovers killed us. If the turnovers had been even, we would have had no problem, and we would have cruised to a 8-point victory.
Yeah, but that's who the Bills are. They turn it over. I mean, that's who they are. I can't believe they lost that game, and really the manner in which they lost the game. Let's get to Steelers-Packers. We both leaned Packers getting 3. They lost by 4. Whatever. That was the right side. Bucks, Titans. The Bucks were laying 1. Total was 38. You went.
No, they didn't. Levis looks like a 1-game wonder, and he's not playing well.
Well, no, he was good too. I thought he was good the Steelers game too.
I did too, and I went back and looked at his QBR and the like, and he actually wasn't. His numbers weren't good in that game. It surprised me.
Lions, Chargers. I put 2 units on the Lions, laying 1.5. They won by 3. Thank you, Dan Campbell. Love it. Falcons, Cardinals. You had the Cardinals as a teaser leg up to +8. That came through for you. I was a little bit nervous with Kyler coming off the knee injury. They won the game outright. Giants, Cowboys was ridiculous. Commanders, Seahawks. We both leaned Seahawks, laying the 6. They only win by 3. Sam Howell's good. I would love to know where you have him rated, Steve. He's good.
Yeah, I got him 1 point worse. Actually, I think 1.5 worse than an average quarterback. But keep in mind, everyone's jumbled together. So, I mean, being an average quarterback is being a good quarterback because there's so many bad ones, in the league, especially with all the injuries and retirements. NFL has a real quarterback problem. There aren't enough good quarterbacks to go around, thus not enough scoring to go around.
Jets, Raiders. We both had the Raiders in a teaser leg up to +7.5. They win the game outright. We've already talked enough about that Broncos-Bills game that cost us a ton of units. For the week, Steve, I was up 4 units. You were down 2 units. So for the year, I'm now back in black. I'm up 3 units. You're still up 20.5 units. We were 2-3 on our best bets. 1-0 on the total, 0-1 on the line, 1-2 on the teasers, 16-18 on our best bets. Our worst year ever for the best bets. we move onward to, what is it, week 11 now in the NFL? Wow, that happens real fast. You know what else happens fast? It's the holiday season. And you don't know what to get people in your life, like your dad or whoever. Get them something from Omaha Steaks. They have all of your fall cravings covered with 50% off site-wide, including butcher's cut filet mignon. Steve likes his medium well. I think that's a travesty. I like it medium rare. Doesn't matter, though. Eat it however you want. Just go to omahasteaks.com today and use code EVEN at checkout, and you get an extra $30 off your order. Again, omahasteaks.com. You can shop all your delicious favorites for half the price. But don't forget to enter promo code EVEN at checkout for an extra $30 off. So 50% off and then $30 off? Hurry, this sale is only for a limited time. Minimum purchase may apply. Steve, let's dive into it. Week 11, and we got a juicy one on Thursday night. It's the Bengals and the Ravens. The Ravens are laying 3.5 at home. A couple of banged up teams here, Steve. You know, the Ravens are calling Ronnie Stanley and Marlon Humphrey day to day. I have my doubts about that on a short week. We know the Bengals aren't going to have T. Higgins. They're not going to have Trey Hendrickson. They're not going to have Sam Hubbard. And it's a really, really important game for both teams.
Yeah, and Baltimore 7-3, but in each and every game in the fourth quarter, they had a 75% or higher chance to win. They could be 10-0, but that's what Baltimore has done, despite having a head coach in Harbaugh that I think very highly of. They are susceptible with the lead late, and Burrow's great as an underdog. I'll lean under in this game since he just played Houston. That total was 46.5. Now they're playing Baltimore on a short week, and that total is right in the same range of 46. Also, these primetime games, we'd be remiss not to mention they're all going under to the tune of 67% over the last 30. I'll lean under the 46.
Ooh, that's interesting. I'm going to take the Bengals for 2 units. You know me, Steve. I love getting 3.5. Feel like this will be a close game, one way or the other. And I like Burrow's chances to get a backdoor cover late, even if they are down 2 scores. Cincinnati plus 3.5, 2 units. I actually have a bunch of ATS bets this week. Let's go Cowboys, Panthers, Steve. Cowboys are laying 10.5 on the road in Carolina. Totals 42.5.
I rarely have much on these double-digit favorites because it's all about the better team's motivation. Do they really want to pound their opponent? And Dallas with such a flawless win against the Giants. Maybe Carolina gets in the back door. I pass.
I would only lean Carolina, I guess, just because of that many points. There's a bunch of really big spreads this week as well, but Carolina is in disarray. I mean, as we record this, Frank Reich might take the play calling back. I said this on today's Ross Tucker podcast, Steve. He might be one and done. That's an impetuous owner, and they're not performing well at all. Far beneath expectations for them bringing in all these veterans that they brought in. DJ Chark and Thielen and Hayden Hurst. They wanted to win this year with Bryce Young on a rookie contract. So I'll lean Carolina. What about the Bears getting 10 points on the road against Detroit? Totals 47.
Yeah, so have you heard Fields? Is Fields going to be, playing? If he is, I'll lean Bears. If not, I'll certainly lean to Detroit.
I do not know that. Since he practiced limited last week and it was a short week, I tend to think he probably will play this week, but I don't know that. You know what's really scary is it doesn't really make a difference in my handicap. I mean, if you're a Bears fan, think about that. This is your 3rd year starting quarterback that you took in the first round, and I don't really see much of a difference between him and an undrafted Division II free agent. I mean, that's got to scare you.
I got him 2.5 points apart. So I have Fields, the number 21 quarterback, and I have Badgett being a below average second string quarterback.
What about the Raiders? They're getting 12, Steve, on the road against the Dolphins. The total's 48.
So I messed up the Jacksonville game for both of us last week. You nailed it. It was the San Fran spot. Well, I'm not going to mess this one up. Miami's going to win this game by a zillion. I'm not going to lay 12, but there's no way I want the Raiders back-to-back, home wins, new coach, smoke cigars in the locker room, go party at the win. I don't know that for a fact. After the wins, and now they got to fly across the country, go to South Beach, celebratory mood, Miami off a bye, nasty mood off of a loss in London. The spot screams Miami, but I'll pass.
I can only lean to the Raiders here, but for the reasons you mentioned, I'm not gonna take the Raiders. I think there's a chance the Dolphins blow them out of the water for everything you just said. This is going to be a different element for them, and the Raiders might run out a little bit of gas here in this game. It might be time. You mentioned they were celebrating. Hopefully they were drinking some Labatt Blue Lights. I don't know if they have Labatt Blue out in Vegas, but they should. It's delicious. I actually met with the Labatt Blue people last night in Buffalo. It was awesome. Always enjoy responsibly beer. Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. Steelers are at the Browns, Steve. The Steelers are getting 4 points. Total's a low 37.
I can only lean to Cleveland because Pittsburgh is a total and utter fraud. 9 straight games they've been outgained, and yet they keep winning these games. It reminds me of a movie, Rocky III. You remember when Rocky's beaten up on setups and he wins a match against Hulk Hogan, but he's no good at that point in time. He's lost his fire, and Mr. T's watching it, and he's just shaking his head. He storms out of the arena at when Rocky wins another bout. That's how I feel about Pittsburgh. It's like I can't believe they're playing a bunch of setups that are giving away the games. I pass, though.
I'm taking the Steelers. They play the same game every week. It's always a close game. I don't know how they do it. I don't care if it's voodoo. I don't care if it's smoke and mirrors. I don't care if they're frauds. I'm taking the 4 points. 2 units, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cardinals are also getting 4 points, Steve. And they're in Houston to take on C.J. Stroud and the Texans. Totals 47.5.
All right, so we're going to go over for 2 units here. This one's easy. I've got perfect weather conditions. I have the Houston Texans are a dead nut over team. And I got Arizona with a bad defense and a good quarterback now that's motivated over 47.5.
And I think this will be a competitive game. I think Arizona is a different team with Kyler Murray and James Conner. They've been competitive in most of their games. And I also think the Texans, after these back-to-back wins, a little prime for a little bit of a letdown here. 2 units on the Arizona Cardinals getting those 4 points. The Giants are getting 10 points from the Commanders. The Commanders are laying 10 points in an NFL football game, Steve. Total is 37.5.
All right, obviously I'm not laying 10 with Washington, but I'm not going to bet Danny DeVito, of Taxi fame, and other people's money. I'll say this. If the Giants flip quarterbacks and they went with Barkley, I would bet the Giants, but I don't want any part of DeVito. I pass.
I got nothing on this game. I really don't even have a lean. If it was 9.5, I think I'd lean Washington. If it was over 10, I guess I'd lean to the Giants, but I don't know. I mean, the Giants they're the worst team in the NFL in my power rankings. I mean, they're bad. They are really, really bad. All right, I want to talk to you about the Titans and the Jags, Steve, because the Jags are laying 6.5. The total's 39.5. I know it's not through 2 key numbers. I know that. I'm very tempted to tease the Jags down to -0.5 point. They're going to win that football game. Are you okay with that?
I am A-okay with it. What are you going to tease them with is what I ask you, though.
Yeah, I'm only doing 3 teasers this week, and I am going to wheel them again. I'm taking the Sunday night game and the Monday night game. So I'm taking the Vikings from 2.5 at Denver up to 8.5. In Dobbs, I trust to at least keep it close. And I'm taking the Eagles up to 8.5 against the Chiefs. That's going to be a close game on Monday night. That's going to be an awesome game. So I'm wheeling Jacksonville down to -0.5 point with the Eagles up to 8.5, the Vikings up to 8.5. Those are my 3 2-unit, 2-team 6-point teaser legs this week.
All right, I don't disagree with your Jacksonville teaser leg, although it's not a traditional one. We see this in the NFL. We see Jacksonville. Hey, they can't beat Kansas City. They can't beat San Francisco at home. They can beat the Titans with margin. I'll lay 6.5 with Jacksonville, 2 units on that play.
Chargers, Packers. Packers are getting 3.5 at home. Total's 44.5.
Who are the Chargers to be lay? Is that a typo? To be laying 3.5? It looked like against Detroit that neither team could stop each other. A little bit of an aberration. Chargers couldn't stop Detroit. Chargers were somewhat fortunate. I don't know if you saw, Ross. There was one series in particular. They had 8 downs inside the goal line. They couldn't do anything. The offense, the Chargers moved 2020. They moved between the 20s. They can't run the ball. They get into the red zone. They're just pathetic. The refs managed to get them a touchdown with a 4th down penalty. Even in the next 4th down, they had to complete a pass in the back of the end zone. I understand that the Packers have been hit or miss, but I got a beach city team going to Lambeau in the middle of November, laying 3.5. That's not right. Green Bay plus 3.5, 2 units.
It's the best bet for all the reasons you just said. I don't love this Packers team, but I love getting 3.5. Best bet there. You know my best bet, Steve? The Game Time app. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. Just get the Game Time app on your phone in all sincerity and look and see what the prices are of concerts, sporting events, whatever, near where you live. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code MONEY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. So again, create an account and redeem code MONEY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Let's talk the Bucs getting 11 points in San Francisco. Totals 41.5, Steve.
I got nothing. Complete pass.
1 unit on the Bucs. Getting 11. That's a lot of points. Come on, Baker. Get me a backdoor cover. Seahawks getting a point on the road against the Rams. Total 45.
That just can't be right. Seattle should be favored. You know what? I'll do I'm going to do a teaser. I'll take Seattle. It has to be a 6.5. No. I'll do the 6-point teaser. I'm going to break all the rules on this teaser. The internet will explode. I'll tease Seattle up to +7 because they should be favored. And I'll tease them with your Jacksonville down to -0.5, 2 units.
I'm adding that to my teaser legs. I'm breaking rules as well. Seattle +7. I mean, come on.
Obviously, if you can, it doesn't belong with Jacksonville because you don't get any credit for the extra half point, but you certainly should take Seattle up to +7.5 in your other teaser legs.
Jets, Bills. Bills are laying 6.5 at home. Totals 40.
Both teams should bounce back nicely, which means I have no idea. I'm going to pass.
I can only lean to the Jets here, getting the 6.5. The Bills, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the day they fire somebody. I don't know who's going to be, but Ken Dorsey probably the OC. Maybe they don't because it's a short week, but
special teams coach.
Yeah, how about the Vikings and the Broncos? We already talked about it. The Broncos are laying 2.5 at home. Totals 43.5. Vikings are one of my teaser legs. You, Steve?
Yeah, I'll wait for it to go to 3, and then I'll probably look to bet the Vikings when it does.
What about Eagles, Chiefs? How about that for a Monday night game? Chiefs are laying 2.5 at home against the team with the best record in the NFL. Totals
get some weather.
45.5.
We're going to get some weather. Primetime unders have been hitting. I'm going to go under for 2 units.
Ooh, interesting. Steve, real quick, got a request from a listener. Penn State was down 9. Franklin went for 2 instead of kicking the extra point to make an 8-point game. I'm guessing you're okay with that because they had to go for 2 at some point, and you're better off knowing earlier whether you got it or not.
Exactly right. So slam dunk, sharp 5th grader does it right. The broadcasters announcers union that's so conservative, of course, we're like, what is he doing? You could make it a 1-score game. No, you need to know whether you're going to get the 2-point conversion. Franklin did the right thing.
Wow. See, people don't realize that. Great job, Steve. Everybody else, good luck. Hope you guys win some money.
Thanks for tuning in to Even Money. Make sure to also check out the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.